Distinguished LP scholar, it's my profound honor to share my research finding with you. I would also like to extend a special gratitude to Professor Vasco Pereira da Silva for this invitation, which represent an invaluable opportunity for me. Before we started, please allow me to do a short self-introduction. My name is XinYuan Zhou from Macau, and I'm currently pursuing a master degree at the Faculty of Law, University of Lisbon. I also finished my bachelor degree at the same faculty. Currently, I'm participating as a researcher of China National Social Science Project and China Major Special Commission Project of Social Science Foundation of Fujian Province. As we can see from the title, this presentation will employ a comparative research approach to analyze the administrative arbitration regime in Portugal, Macau, and mainland China, exploring the divergent developmental trajectories, inherent challenges, and future prospects. As a vital branch of alternative dispute resolution mechanism, administrative arbitration holds unique value in handling complex modern administrative dispute, yet faces inherent tension due to its very nature. The starkly divergent practice across these three jurisdictions offer a special angle for examining how legal regimes seek equilibrium between the efficiency and fairness, autonomy and oversight. To grasp the effectiveness and limitation of administrative administration across jurisdiction, we must first revisit its fundamental attributes. Administrative administration demonstrate three core values that distinguish it from traditional judicial remedies. First, it relies on expert adjudication within the public law domain, leveraging the deep expertise to swiftly resolve complex disputes, significantly reducing the time and the financial burdens on parties. Second, it embodies procedure flexibilities. Parties may autonomously select the arbitration institutions, arbitrator, and even procedure arrangements, enhancing the acceptance of ruling while promoting collaborative dispute resolutions. Third, serving as a critical judicial diversion mechanism, it reduced the court overload by providing the efficient alternative, meeting the modern society's demand for diverse dispute resolution channels. However, these advantages are accompanied by systemic contradiction that constituted the mechanism's core flaw. Undoubtedly, administrative arbitration rooted in private law tradition fundamentally conflict with the principles of administrative law, which prioritize the public interest and adhere to strictly defined statutory authorities. This tension raises the legitimate questions such as uh, should private arbitrator adjudicate matters involving public powers? Such ruling might inadvertently harm the public interest. Equally challenging is the conflict between the arbitration's inherent principle of confidentiality and finality versus administrative law's requirements for transparency and adequate remedies. This tension is most accurate evident in debate over the publication of arbitral awards and the right to appeal, presenting a dilemma that all jurisdictions must adjust to varying degree. As for Portugal, faced with this inherent tension, different jurisdictions have adopted various approach. Of course, Portugal standing out through a thoughtful legislative design and iterative reform. It has successfully addressed the systemic shortcoming and unlocked the full potential of administrative arbitration by anchoring its approach in core value and resolving the aforementioned conflicts, Portugal has transformed the theoretical possibilities into practical realities through institutional optimizations. The cornerstone of this success lies in the 2015 reform of the Code of Procedure in Administrative Courts, so-called CPTA. This reform formally integrates administrative arbitration into the public law domain, clearly distinguish it from the private law arbitration, and establishing a robust legal foundation for its application in the public law sector. The reform also expanded the scope of arbitrable matters to encompass the entire life cycle of administrative contract and disputes over the validity of administrative acts, significantly enhancing the regime's applicability to the wider administrative disputes. Portugal's strategy for resolving core contradiction offer us a significant lessons. First, the balancing transparency and privacy rights. The law mandates electronic publication of the final awards in the Ministry of Justice database to ensure the public oversight and accountability, while mandating the removal of the personal identity to protect the privacy. Detailed anonymization standards cover this process, achieving a delicate equilibrium between the publicity and confidentiality. And finally, in weighting finality against avenue for remedies, Portugal uphold the principle of arbitration finality to ensure the efficient dispute resolution while permitting the limited exceptions, such as appear in cases involving fundamental rights violation or special circumstances decided by law, which granted the judicial authority the power to intervene when public interest or legal uniformity is compromised. This institutional refinement have yielded tangible result. Portugal's administrative arbitration regime not only operate efficiently but has also earned the public trust. But yet, it is not without flaws. A vague anonymization standard risks excessive reduction of the awards, undermining the public oversight. Furthermore, the absence of the penalty for non-compliance with a disclosure obligation witness the enforcement of the transparency rules, and thirdly, most importantly, the appeal framework remains overly reliant on private arbitration clause, lacking specialized provision that fully reflect the public law nature of administrative disputes. And these gaps remind us that even mature regime like Portugal has still require the continuously refinement to adapt to evolving needs. As for Macau, while Portugal has successfully established an effective regime for resolving administrative dispute through arbitration, its legal successor, Macau, presents a stark contrast. Despite inheriting Portugal's institutional framework, it has failed to translate the legal text into the practical efficacy. Although Macau's 2020 new arbitration law includes a dedicated chapter on administrative arbitration regime, but the regime still remain in the state of legislative dormancy with zero application. This stagnation stems from three interrelated obstacles. First, insufficient promotion by the government and administration institution has resulted in limited public awareness. And second, the Macau Bar Association protectionist stance characterized by the skepticism toward arbitration and resistance to its border adoption, has deprived the regime of the crucial professional support. Third, most Macau arbitration institutions operate under the government-affiliated structure, which lacking their operation flexibility and independence. Macau's legislative framework also suffered from significant flaws that undermine the regime's viabilities. Article 80 of the arbitration law permit that administrative arbitration awards to be published on the dedicated portal managed by the Legal Affairs Bureau, but yet this portal remains unestablished, which rendering transparency requirements meaningless. More critically, the absence of the penalty for non-publication and undefined anonymization standards create a regulatory vacuum between the privacy protection and public oversight. The regime's remedies are equally inaccurate. Parties may only seek annulment or invalidation actions limited to procedural defeats rather than the substantive review of the awards. Even the review process requires the mutual consent and is conducted by the same level arbitration tribunals, failing to establish a tier oversight mechanism ensuring the legal consistency and the public interest protections. And finally, the internal governance mechanism are equally absent. There are no professional ethics standards for administrator and no disciplinary procedure for misconduct, further eroding the public confidence in its reliabilities. Yet, Macau unique position as a bridge between mainland China and Portuguese speaking countries holds immense potentials. Its legal traditions, aligned with Portugal's mature system, provide a solid foundation for reform. Furthermore, its destination as a Guangdong Macau in deep cooperation zone in Hengqin make it a natural testing ground for cross-border administrative dispute resolution. Through the targeting reform, I believe that Macau can transform its dormant legislative framework into a dynamic practice that balances the local need with the regional integrations. As for mainland China, while Macau's challenge lies in activating existing legislations, mainland China faces a starkly different dilemma, which is the growing demands for administrative arbitration collides with legal institution barriers that obstruct its implementations, creating a paradox that highlights the gap between the legal tradition and modern governance needs. The drivers of this dilemma cannot be ignored. As administrative affairs grows increasingly complex, dispute involving administrative contract, cross-border cases, and public-private partnership cases has surged, overwhelming the traditional litigation and administrative reconsideration mechanisms. Such disputes urgently require more efficient and specialized resolution channels, particularly in the Guangdong-Macau in-deep cooperation zone in Hengqin, where the cross-border enforceability and the efficiency are paramount. As for this issue, academic circles have found these demands as well, with the scholar widely advocating for including administrative agents as a party in arbitration proceedings. Uh, Also, in the 2021 arbitration law draft for comment signaled the growing openness toward to the administrative arbitration by removing the restriction on the equal status of arbitration parties. However, the current legal framework in mainland China remains a significant obstacle. The existing arbitration law explicitly prohibit the administrative agents from participating in arbitration as party, directly undermining the legal foundation for administrative arbitration. And also institutional issue further exacerbated the dilemma. Most arbitration institutions are government funded and staffed, lacking the financial and operational independence necessary to ensure the impartiality. This structural dep- dependence on the administrative body erodes public trust in the neutrality of arbitration awards, occurring precisely as societal demands for judicial remedies to supplement the overburdened court continues to rise. Compounding the problem, ad hoc arbitration remains only partially permitted in mainland China, with limited pilot programs in free trade zone like Hengqin. This creates a paradox, which is that a jurisdiction urgently needing the administrative arbitration to find itself hamstrung by legal and institutional barriers, preventing its potential from being fully uh, realized. After examining the unique developmental trajectories of Portugal, Macau, and mainland China, we can move forward for comparative analysis. Uh, the analysis showed that the divergent path shaped by the regional context, while the reviewing core comments challenged within these three jurisdictions. This comparison not only highlight each system's distinct weakness, but also illuminate universal principle determining the success or the failure adoption of the regime itself. Regarding legislative precisions, Portugal's clear public law positioning and rich case law practice stand in stark contrast to Macau's framework and mainland China's prohibitive legislative. As for institutional, independence emerged as the critical variable. Portugal's autonomy as arbitration center ensured the effective oversight and the credibility, while Macau and mainland China remain constrained by government-linked institutions, compromising the flexibility and the public trust. Beyond these differences, all three jurisdictions share the common witness as well. First, they all face the legitimacy gaps stemming from the inherent tension between public and private law principle. For example, whether the balancing transparency versus confidentiality or the finality versus the avenue for remedies. And the second, limited appeal channels and the weak internal governance poses universal challenges as well. Uh, Portugal's systems lack tailored public law appeal provision, and Macau offers no substantial review on this matter. And as for mainland China, it entirely lacked the formal appeal mechanism. Thirdly, two of three jurisdictions still failed to achieve institutional independence, highlighting that administrative arbitration's effectiveness ultimately hinge on the shielding institution from undue administrative interference. This share challenge point to the similar reform priorities, regardless of whether the regime a mature domain or nascent. Success hinge on resolving core dilemma. First, the divergent experience across this jurisdiction offer not only the cautionary tales, but also outline a targeted reform roadmap. Drawing comparative insight from the strength and the weakness of Portugal's mature practice, the shortcoming of Macau's domain framework, and the unmet needs in mainland China, one truth become even more clear is that the effectiveness of administrative arbitration is not innate, but is built through the thoughtful legislation, institutional independence, and responsive reform. We can now chart syn- uh, a synergistic reform path. This roadmap leveraging each jurisdiction's unique strength while addressing specific weakness, the transforming the fragmentation into a source of the strength. Legislatively, the primary task is that to establish the legitimacy of the regime. Mainland China should amend its arbitration law to explicitly grant administrative agents arbitral capacity and define the scope of the arbitrable administrative disputes. As for Macau, it must introduce the privacy exemption clause for the public disclosure of arbitration awards within the existing regulations, ultimately establishing a statutory information portal. Additionally, both jurisdictions can draw upon the Portugal's detailed procedure rules to ensure the efficiency gains do not come at the expense of the accountabilities. At the institutional level, depoliticalization is paramount. Both Macau and the mainland China should separate the administration institution from the government affiliation, granting them operational autonomy to build the credibility of the administration center, establishing administrator ethicals, ruling, quality assessment standard, and internal disciplinary mechanism will further elevate the professional standards and the public trust. And not yet, we should bear in mind that cross-regional collaboration present a unique opportunity to accelerate the reform. The Guangdong-Macau In-Depth Cooperation Zone in Hengqin serve as an ideal testing ground integrating the strength of all three regions. It can leveraging the Macau's legal compatibility with the Portuguese-speaking countries, mainland China's practical needs, and Portugal's procedural refinements to establish a cross-border administrative arbitration mechanism, filtering the mutual recognition of the rules, shared arbitration, and enforceable awards. This pilot program can generate valuable precedents, build the public trust through the tangible outcomes, and demonstrate the effectiveness of the administrative arbitration in administrative disputes. So, to conclude, the path forward lies in recognizing that these three jurisdictions are interconnected, not isolated, by drawing on Portugal's refined experience, activating Macau's advantage, and removing mainland China's legal barrier. We can build a synergistic system that meets regional needs while fostering the broader regional integration. By establishing legitimacy through the legislative amendment, fostering the independency via institutional reform, and building trust through the cross-border collaborations, administrative arbitration will transform from a problem into a powerful tools, a regime that ensures the efficiency without sacrificing the fairness, a regime that balancing the autonomy without undermining the accountability, a regime that achieving the regional synergy without ignoring the local needs. That'll be all of my presentation today. Thank you for your attention.